Alright everyone, let's make this quick and painless. Although gambling on this card may be painful, it's very difficult to make accurate predictions. As you can see by the lines, I'm I'm gonna use DraftKings just so everyone's on the same page for lines. I think that's most people use as far as MMA is concerned. And I'm only gonna call the main card, what I think, some fights you might want to stay away from, and what I think are maybe the safest bets potentially. Some of the lines are a little goofy to me, so we'll just start at top and work our way down on the main card, starting with Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. I love both. I think both have tremendous boxing. Both have power to finish fights, although Yadong has more of that kind of one-hitter quitter power. He's really good inside, like infighting, and I saw him hitting mitts a lot. I think Sandhagen was talking about this as well, working on a lot of like elbows and inside striking, although I don't think clinching with Petr Yan's the best idea. He's got some really brilliant tricks in the clinch. I made a video a while back called catch and release striking, which is kind of like how he enters the clinch and then strikes his way out, or his creative striking as he exits or as the opponent exits. As the line stands right now, Yan is minus 130. It's basically a pick'em. I don't know. Yan doesn't exactly have momentum on his side where Yadong does, but it's really hard to pick against Yan in this fight. I just, his fight against Marab is kind of a different beast than this one. I see it being more of a stand-up kind of a fight, and I know Yadong is more of a traditional boxer in striking, and that's where Yan really shines. I wouldn't be surprised by either person winning, but if I had to bet the fight, I would certainly bet it on Yan. Yeah, but I don't think either is a bad pick. Maybe if you have rooting interest, etc. I don't think betting money on Yadong would be a bad idea. It should be a great fight. I think it'll be highly technical, but I got to go with Petr on that one. Next up would be Dorino, Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. I'm surprised that Burns is the dog in this. He's plus 136 and JDM is minus 162. Again, this is kind of close to being a pick'em, but I like Burns as a live dog in this, and I understand JDM is very good. He's got, again, excellent boxing, but if the fight goes to the ground, I think Burns certainly has the wrestling to get it there, and if he does get it there, he has the ability to certainly to finish the fight pretty quickly. He's world class on the ground, and I think JDM's background is mostly boxing. I know he's got some good kind of anti-wrestling tactics, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if he won. But as far as live dogs are concerned and maybe smart money is concerned, then I'm going to have to go with Gilbert Burns in that fight. But I think standing up, the longer it stays standing, the more it'll favor JDM. So if it ends up going 3 rounds, I don't think Burns will win. But if it ends up with a finish, I think it'll be Burns that gets the finish, maybe like in the second via submission, maybe hurting him with like his tricky little kind of push hook that he throws, or he's got a really nice overhand right that he sets up nicely with level change feints. So maybe he gets a takedown in the first round and JDM's a little too conscious about it and hits him with something big in the second round. That's a scenario I can see playing out. But as a live dog, I like Burns. And in the next fight, I also like a live dog in Michael Venom Page. I don't know if this line is as such because more people know Holland, or UFC fans maybe don't know MVP as well, but he's been striking in some capacity since he was a kid. I think he has kind of the Wonder Boyish path where he did some type of point fighting, but he came up in traditional martial arts and he is wild as a striker. But it's as crazy as it looks and as antic laden as it may be, it's effective. And usually in stand-up affairs, Page is just phenomenal. Holland also is phenomenal by all accounts, but I just I don't know, when it comes to a match that you, or a fight that you think is going to be a striking affair like Strictly, the closest we probably have to that with Holland would be his fight against Wonderboy, and Thompson really put it on him. And I think that the difference between the two is that Thompson is probably more accurate, maybe has better defense, maybe even a little bit faster, but Page has more power, or just shut your lights off in an instant kind of power. Holland certainly has that, but I don't think he's as schooled a striker. So I like MVP. Now the line on that's showing right now is Holland at -135 and Page at +114. Again with the pick'em, which just reinforces the fact that I think these fights are very difficult to call. But that said, I think I like Page to win. I'll be rooting for Holland. I like him a lot as a fighter. I think he's got tremendous potential, and he's a bit of a wild card. And the fact that in the way that Nate Diaz kind of lands punches on someone like Leon Edwards, there's an awkwardness that is effective. But in his case, there's more power in it, and he's very fast and agile and athletic. And I think everyone that's going to listen to this is very familiar with Holland. I've done a few breakdowns on him. I broke down MVP way back in the day. But yeah, he's excellent. I don't see much wrestling happening in that fight. If so, it'd be surprising. Both of them have fairly good guards, and neither of them are wrestle heavy. I think it'll be a striking blitzkrieg kind of a fight, maybe over in the first round. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, I like him as a live underdog as well. I like MVP. Next up, and this one is just I have no idea kind of thing. You got the original DDP, Dustin the Diamond Poirier against Benoit Saint Denis, and Benoit Saint Denis, potential-wise, toughness-wise, chin-wise, etc., is a stud. Again, a big-time potential fighter, but 5-round experience. I tip my hat to Poirier certainly, and just experience period. Poirier by a long shot, but is that experience and that wear and tear on his chin going to come into play? Now the line right now has Benoit at -225, which is kind of a large favorite for this fight. If anything, I thought that would be one of the ones that was closer to being a pick'em, but it's tough. It's tough to say. I don't know what was going on with Saint Denis' head and that potential staph infection leading up this week, but if that came into play, and that's why he's been this kind of stoic, like he looks moody, like he had a tough weight cut kind of thing throughout the week. Poirier is certainly a live dog. I would stay away from this fight because Poirier tends to get wobbled with punches that aren't necessarily like destroyers, and that knockout that he suffered at the hands of Gaethje recently worries me a bit. There's always something there when someone takes a head kick as a knockout. We saw it with Volkanovski a little bit, and again, this doesn't take away anything from the next person in line, but once the chin takes that kind of a crack, I don't know if it heals ever. And Poirier, it seems like in every fight gets chicken-legged with something, and I think Benoit's that kind of a finisher that if he smells blood in the water, he's just gonna blitzkrieg him. Now, could he blow his wad and not finish Poirier and that come into play, say in like the 4th round if it goes that far? Certainly, I can see this going both ways. If I had to bet money on it, I'd probably bet on Saint Denis, and I hate doing that. I want to pick Poirier for a few reasons, but just the fact that glancing kind of shots have put him, like Khabib moving backward hit him with a left hook that stunned Poirier. It's someone that's going to be coming forward a little more aggressive. Can they penetrate it? Can they penetrate his defense is usually the question, but like, will it rock him? Yes, if he lands. Poirier doesn't have Gaethje kind of power where he puts people in the shadow realm. It's usually like a cumulative kind of thing if he gets a finish, but he's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. I think they're kind of even on the ground potentially, but yeah, I'd probably pick Saint Denis if I had to with an arm twist. But I don't know. I don't like the line either. I may stay away from that fight. And then finally, the main event of the evening, we have an Ecuadorian heavy crowd in Miami seemingly for Marlon Vera against current champion Sean Sugar O'Malley at -258 versus Vera's +210. So O'Malley's a favorite, but it's nothing crazy by any means. That's a reasonable favorite for a title fight. I think this is certainly Herrera versus Izzy-ish in that Vera did beat him. I mean, no matter how you want to slice it, but if not for that fight, and if all I had seen is all their other fights besides fighting each other, I would think skill-wise O'Malley's got the edge by a significant margin. I think he's much faster, and I think he's got more power. But there is a dog in Vera. He's just a tough dude. He's powerful and not in the traditional sense. It's kind of in the like, why was that so powerful? powerful sense. Like, he'll land things that didn't, you know, the way that he knocked, like he was knocking around Dominic Cruz, a lot of those weren't, you know, him loading up on strikes, and the way that he finished him was like a brilliant bit of timing. With a high kick on Cruz as he tried to weave his way out from his back against the cage. Again, it's kind of where they were in their career potentially, and Vera's just a sniper. He just waits his turn. He's kind of patient. That may work against him in this fight. A friend of mine just texted me who I liked in the fight, and I think they're an O'Malley fan, and I'll be as honest with all of you as I was with them. It worries me that O'Malley has had 2 fights now where some type of leg injury has, in one case, somehow he still ended up winning, and that was years ago. I don't remember the opponent's name, even though he lives fairly close to me. That's the one where he was like, I fucking love you, Joe Rogan, at the end of the fight with like a broken something. I understand the circumstances are different, whereas Vera landed a calf kick right on that super sensitive nerve, and I don't know if any of you have ever taken that or been hitting the calf, but it does shut you down. I mean, it just shuts down all feeling or all sense of mobility, and O'Malley needs that more than he needs anything. That's his bread and butter. Mine is just saying he has power. It's his delivery system, very fast, incredible feints, great footwork, just beautiful angles. He's really good at kind of working his way from outside in and in reverse as well. Going backwards, obviously, we saw the Aljamain fight. O'Malley's he's just so dangerous at 135. Anyone with, you know, one punch power like that, it's fairly unheard of at that weight. So I like O'Malley to win, but this fight, if you're an O'Malley fan, just prepare yourself for a potential kind of I don't know, another, I don't want to say flukish, because I don't even believe the first fight was necessarily flukish, but maybe a disappointing result. But I do like O'Malley to win. Skill wise, I think he is superior, and I think he'll land something heavy early enough to make a difference. The toughest thing in this fight, I think, is trying to figure out how 5 rounds will lay out, because it seems like legitimate bad blood, and it seems like a legitimate kind of, they're gonna be out and in each other's face kind of fight right away, and just another tough to call fight. I don't love it. I don't love this fight for O'Malley because of the kind of psychological element. It seems like the Miami crowd's kind of turned on O'Malley a bit. I don't know if the quote unquote cringe kind of shit has caught up to him with, you know, the pink hair and looking like you know, he's Michael Jackson showing up for a court case every time he fights. You know, some people aren't really into that. I don't give a shit. I just want to see a good fight, and I think it'll be provided. I hope so anyway. So yeah, that should be a great fight. I favor O'Malley skill wise, but I'm not going to be surprised by a Vera win by any stretch. But, you know, fresh off of Ngannou's just absolute embarrassing showing against Anthony Joshua, in retrospect shouldn't have been that surprising, but I feel like everyone's a bit deflated today because most MMA fans are kind of rooting for Francis in a lot of ways, not just because he used to fight for UFC, but just all the shit talk and everything else he's had to endure since he started the boxing venture. So to recap, we'll just real quick start from the beginning and work our way down. I like Peter Yan over Yadong at -135. I like Burns as the underdog at +136. I like Michael Venom Page at +114. I like Benoit Saint Denis at -225. Although the smarter money might be on Poirier, I don't like how his chin tends to hold up in fights against a guy that's like almost impossible seemingly to put away in Saint Denis. There's something about the real strict fist fight, who would you take in a bar fight on your team kind of a way that I gotta go with him. I don't know if Poirier is going to be able to put him away. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but I don't know. I don't like Poirier's chin, I guess is what it comes down to. And I mean, no disrespect as always to anyone. That's not my style. I'm not a clickbaity kind of controversial type, unintentionally anyway. And in the main event, I like Sean O'Malley, but again, I won't be surprised if Vera wins. O'Malley's at -258, so bet cautiously on that. Those chicken legs are going to be right there for the kicking, so hopefully he's got some kind of a solution and he fights long, at least early, and we'll see what happens from there. Again, those 2 last fights are 5-rounders, so makes them both a little interesting. There's not a lot of 5-round experience for either of them. Vera's been in 2, I believe, and I think O'Malley's been in maybe one that I can think of, maybe 2. There's not a lot of 5-round experience, and that does come into play at times, so we shall see. Hopefully it's a great card. This on paper is one of the, I mean, even the undercard is fantastic. this should be a great event. I think it's certainly better on paper than 300's looking like it may be. As far as the undercard, you got Gamrot versus RDA, but he's a huge favorite at minus 425. I love the fight. I can't wait to see it, but I don't know what to expect there. That's an interesting fight. Pedro Munoz versus Tyler Phillips. Tyler Phillips is a pretty large favorite at minus 230. I think he'll pull that one out. Almeida versus Blades. That's a pick'em. I don't know. They both like to grapple. That one's kind of a coin flip. I would kind of stay away from a lot of those fights. But main card, I like the two dogs if you're doing parlay work or whatever in Burns and MVP. And then in the main two fights, I like the two favorites, although both are over minus 200. Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be a lot of striking. I don't see much grappling on the main card anyway. I think it'll be an exciting card that hopefully lives up to expectations. We certainly need to keep the momentum kind of going in the UFC right now for us more hardcore fans that appreciate technique and just want exciting fights. Let's hope that it lives up to that. And I will be on Twitter tweeting out what I see. Everything's a little subject to change. Sometimes I'll see things early in the first round that make me go, So I don't know if that helps anyone, but my Twitter handle is the same as just my name. It's just at Brennan Dorman, no MMA on it. And hit me up, follow me. I tend to follow people back if you seem like a legit person on there, and it's the easiest way for me to communicate with everyone live during the fights. Streaming's a little tough, although going forward, maybe in a month from now, I'll probably be able to stream during the fights just because of a change in living situation. So if all of that happens, I'll certainly keep you posted. If not, I got some breakdowns planned for the week coming up. Someone asked me to break down Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev, and I saw some really interesting things that I think are good little more nuggets or morsels of knowledge for all my smarks. So I might break that down, maybe a fight from here, although after pay-per-views it's smart to kind of wait a week before you break things down. Maybe I'll just come on tomorrow morning and make something like this that's just my voice, try to help people that are gambling, etc. And that's all I got. So may the best people win, and if anyone's got big money riding on it, let me know, and if you won any, certainly let me know. And I only charge 0.2% on your win. Just kidding. Enjoy the card. Peace out.